Here.
Hello. Say hi, Gaga. Hi, Papa. Hi, Brandon.
Electronic cars aren't pollution free. They have to get their energy from somewhere. If you look up on Google, stats on EV car growth, these are the kind of charts you're going to see. Exponential growth. But is this a problem? With the rise of hybrid and now electric vehicles, we must discuss a world without gas. We have to realize that all the efforts we're taking to conserve are equally being used somewhere else to consume. My name is Lucas Richmond. I drive both gas and electric vehicles. And along with my research, I'm a credible person to discuss this issue. Today, I will argue on how electronic vehicles are a poor alternative to gas ones, how it has misled us in solutions for tomorrow. I will discuss how electronic vehicles are an inferior product, how it has harmed our environment, and what we can do about it today. First, I must set the narrative straight. That electronic vehicles are a viable, environmentally friendly alternative to gas cars is false. Over the last century, we have made so much progress in the automotive industry, and leading on EVs would be a huge mistake, and it would be a huge step back. First, electronic cars are terrible to drive. They can't go as far. CBS reports that there are 80% more problems with electronic cars than gas cars. And this mainly has to do with chargers being either unreliable or unavailable. This makes for a terrible intermediate to a long distance trip, and it also takes forever to charge. The U.S. Department of Transportation reports that it can take up to from 1 hour to a few days to get your car to 100%. And even those who are paying for a quicker alternative to charge these cars are paying a premium. Finally, electronic cars are just more expensive. The U.S. News report reports that EVs are $12,000 more than the average gas car. And Edmunds.com estimates that it costs $20,000 to replace these batteries after decades of use. So ultimately, these electronic cars are not a viable alternative, and what's even worse is that they're not even necessarily environmentally friendly. We are continuing to harm our environment by using electronic vehicles. We have fallen so much in love with the idea that electronic vehicles will save us from these greenhouse gases, but we forget that there are negatives in every decision. And what's even worse is that the negatives to electronic vehicles are mainly environmental. So this starts with the batteries, and Camilla Domanowski from NPR reports that with all that's required to mine and process materials, EV battery production has a significant carbon footprint. As a result, building an electric vehicle does more damage to the climate than building a gas car does. So even though we're not burning fossil fuels on the road, it doesn't mean they're not being burned. So in this case, they'd be being burned in a factory. Electronic cars also drain natural resources. According to The Guardian, by 2040, there will be 40 times more demand for lithium in the next, 15 years? So, not to mention the natural metals that we'll be using, like gold and silver, to compose these batteries. That those natural resources will also become more scarce. And what's even worse is that we're struggling to find solutions to recycle these batteries. But at least we're not constantly burning fossil fuels on the road. Turns out that's not even true. According to Natural Academics of Science, 2/3 of the electricity we use to charge these vehicles are from fossil fuels. And this is very concerning because it's set out so we're not burning these fossil fuels, not continuing to produce these greenhouse gases, and it's not even doing that. It's also contributing to even more environmental issues. So just because we have an alternative doesn't make it better. We need to know what's going into the making of these vehicles and the product that we're receiving. It's important that we are passing this information on and protecting our environment. And we can do that in a few ways. Number one, get the facts right. Voice our concerns to citizens, to the government. Number two, do what we can do now. Reduce our use of fossil fuels. And, go outside. Going back to voicing our concerns, we can go on things like Instagram and Twitter. Voice our concerns. Join communities. Meet people in person. Create petitions that will eventually lead to legislative action. Again, like I said before, we can go on runs. We can bike to places. Reduce the use of, gas, hybrid, electric vehicles, whatever it is. Conserve our environment and be sure that, the way we're charging our vehicles is coming from clean sources. Something we can do today, in a click of a button, is click this link for an electronic petition to end the executive order from Gavin Newsom, N7920, which will prohibit the production and sales of gas vehicles. Today, I have argued on how electronic vehicles are a poor alternative to gas cars, how it misleads others, and solutions for tomorrow. I have discussed how electronic cars are simply an inferior product, how they harm the environment, and steps that we can take today. John Shaw once said, "The future isn't a place that we're going to. It's a place that is created, and the paths are not found, but made." Thank you.